Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, episode 18 of the Love of Fighting podcast. It's your host, Ash here, as always, and we are joined by one of the most entertaining amateur MMA fighters in the world, Mr. Josh Reichardt. How you doing, man?
How's it going? Thank you very much. Love that intro. I try to entertain the entertain the fans all the time on my fights, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I mean, I actually saw a couple clips on your Instagram, man. That fucking knockout that you delivered with those kickboxing gloves, man, that was scary, to be honest with you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I actually been working on my Muay Thai a lot. I actually did a summit up in Wisconsin not too long ago, and I took that fight on short notice just because my hands were getting really good, and I'm like, I got to show the world what I'm made of there. So, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Actually, 4 times in that fight too before I got that knockout.
and me being a fighter myself, that was scary, man. I mean, if I was standing over there, like not in the crowd, or even if a referee, or even if I was standing in front of you, seeing that
Mm-hmm.
uh, footage, that would make me shit my pants, man. That was scary as fuck. That was really great.
That's great, man. I appreciate that. Got to send a message. Got to get the eyes on on the fights. That's the only
Yeah.
way we get through the amateur rankings over there. The more eyes that watch it, the pros are calling then.
Yeah. Speaking of pros, you got fights under your belts. When are you thinking you will go pro in the future?
I talked to my coach about this pretty recently, and we're expecting by the tail end of 2022. I want to have a pretty good 2022 season. I had a couple losses early in my career. I was at a different gym, and I really focused on my striking there. Now I think I'm well rounded enough, and I just want to crank out a couple amateur fights, get a title or two, and then go pro.
Yeah, exactly. Just like my coach told me, me being a fighter myself, I hadn't fought in like 2 years. I was gonna go pro. My coach was like, "No, take another amateur fight. See where your
Mm-hmm.
head's at. Look at your speed. Look at your strength. How you how you gonna deal with the adversity coming back from 2 years off." I did that. My last fight was a no contest. Fucking
And I got the
bitches, man.
experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 7 fights though. 7-0, but coming
Mm-hmm.
back after 2 years, it was a no contest. But
Yeah.
we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
You like I said, you got 4 fights under your belt. How I didn't ask you, but tell me something about your first fight, the first one. How do you
Um,
feel
my
about it?
first fight, or my first MMA fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so my first MMA fight was in 2018. I was with my first gym at the time. There, we were predominantly a striking gym, and it was at 145, which was honestly a little bit of a bigger weight class for me. I ended up fighting an opponent. His name's Mike Bernard. At this point, I think he's 7-0. He's about to go pro. He actually just won another amateur title on the last card I fought, and it was a good fight, a good matchup. I believe he was a high level wrestler at the time. So the game plan was to strike with him, and then with my background, I was a wrestler too. But so I got in there. I had a lot of nerves at the time. I landed a strike, got an early takedown. But the rules over here in New York are you can't ground and pound in the head in the first your first couple amateur fights. So if you go to the ground, it's all body shots. I was peppering his body. You got a quick submission on me, and then I tapped, unfortunately. But I really feel like if I was allowed to ground and pound to the head, because I was in his mount, I was postured up, and I was raining down punches. If I was hitting him in the head, I feel like it would have knocked him out versus to the body, because those rib shots you could still, you don't have to defend, you can lock up
yeah.
submission stuff. So that was my first ever MMA fight, but I learned a lot through that. So after that, I actually worked on my sports psychology, got my head right because I had terrible anxiety going in that one. I worked on my grappling a lot more. I didn't actually have another MMA fight until I got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu because of that.
Uh, you know, you talked about different rules. Don't you think it's a little bit weird that some places they have different amateur MMA rules, like no ground and pound to the head? Like that's bullshit, right?
Yeah, I hate that. You're signing up for a fight. You got to fight. If I can kick
Yeah,
you in the head standing up, why can't I punch you in the head on the ground?
exactly. Like I was fighting my last fight. I was in the clinch. I landed a knee. Referee stopped. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "You can't knee." I'm like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Why can't I knee?" He's like, "No, amateur rules. You cannot knee to the body. Not to the body. Not to the. You cannot throw knee at all.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even to the
ridiculous.
thighs. That's bullshit, man.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
MMA. It's
mhm.
MMA. Let us have fucking fun."
Exactly. And they say in the rules meetings in the back, oh well, it's to protect people to go to work the next day. Fuck that, dude. You're in a fight. I'm here to entertain people. I'm here to sell tickets. I'm here to like be flashy. If I want to throw a knee or a head kick, we should be able to throw a knee or a head kick.
Exactly.
And then the
Like
problem too is every promotion's different. Like we have a reservation up here, so I fought at the Niagara Falls Casino. I wasn't allowed to throw head kicks there. I was like, what the hell is that?
what the fuck?
Yeah. So and then you get or if you do like another amateur fight, like you said, sometimes you can throw knees, sometimes you can't. There's up here we're not allowed to do elbows at all until you're pro.
Shit. That's
Yeah.
bullshit, man. I mean, they should have just like a pro MMA, like these set of rules. All companies, they should just look at that and be like, yeah, that's the rules. I mean, what
Exactly.
does it mean? You can't throw knees, you can't throw elbows.
Mhm.
Like, do you want to know how my fight was overturned to a no contest? Do you want to know about that?
Yeah, tell me about that.
You'll laugh your ass off when you hear it. The guy threw the body kick. I grabbed his leg. I want to go for a takedown. It was good. So I pull guard. I went on my back, and referee stops the fight. It was like, you were out cold.
The heck is that? I had
Exactly.
I had another fight where I was in an armbar and actually turned, it was going to be a no contest, but they turned it as a submission, but I spiked the kid, and I guess we weren't allowed to do that. But he had me in an
Yeah.
armbar. I was told that you could do that, if you get put in a submission, you're allowed to do that, like when how Andrade knocked out Rose Namajunas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I wasn't allowed to do that either.
I mean, I mean, the referee, like, he told me I was knocked out cold. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was no punches. No punches landed on my face. How did I get knocked out? He was like, no, you went out. I'm like, dude, I wasn't out. I
I
wasn't
swear,
out.
some of these refs they get are from like accounting or something down the street at the bank because they're like they have no idea what the hell goes on half the time.
Dude, I mean, listen, I'm fighting. I want to make a living, and you stop a fight like that. I mean, thank God it was overturned to a no contest. I mean, I don't care if I lose, but like that, losing like that, it's in your head, man. It's gonna be on in your head.
Yeah, and honestly, the record looks better too with the O. So you want to keep that undefeated streak going. So
Yeah,
for you, robbed like that, man, that stinks. Sorry that happened to you. It
yeah.
seems actually.
I mean, I've got a fight coming up in like 2 months. It's not an MMA fight. It's a sambo fight. You know what sambo is, right?
Yeah,
It's
familiar
like
sound.
Russian MMA. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
put on gis and stuff.
yup.
Have you ever fought in sambo?
I've
Just out
never
of
fought,
curiosity.
but I do train with a guy that was a sambo practitioner. So I go up there, we grapple. I have a BJJ background, and he just works me with leg locks all the time from sambo.
Is he Russian?
Yeah, he's from somewhere. I don't know exactly. I mean, I think he's got some Russian descent, but I'm not 100%. I gotta ask him.
Oh yeah. If he's fighting sambo, he's got to be Russian, man.
Yeah,
Being
because it's
honest.
popular up in the States.
Yeah, it's not that popular, but it's close to MMA. But and
Hmm.
here in sambo, you can headbutt in the ground. So
Hmm.
I mean, I can take the guy and headbutt him. Mark
Yep.
Coleman will be proud.
They say your head's pretty strong, so I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
personally wouldn't risk it, but I mean, if someone's headbutting me, that's just gotta hurt.
yeah, that's gonna hurt, man. That's
Hmm.
gonna break that'll break a nose 100%. You just
Oh yeah,
go with a headbutt, that will break a nose.
Sambo's a
That's
great
gonna
match too. I mean, look at Khabib and all of his guys. That's where they started.
yeah,
And they take over the UFC. They had a whole American Kickboxing Academy.
yeah. It's called kickboxing, but it's more like wrestling.
Exactly. So I think that's where they train when they're in the States in California. But I mean, they
Yeah.
bring all that Sambo background from Russia over there. And it's, their guys are just all next level there. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, you can't say that. Do you think that in a couple years, MMA is just gonna be full of Russian wrestlers just beating each other up?
Uh, it's hard to say no, because I mean, right now they are coming over and they're taking over. But I do feel like American wrestling's going to catch up. So I don't think they're going to take over necessarily. I think they're going to be a lot of top guys, but I do think in a couple of years, someone's going to figure out a way to try to neutralize it. But then again, you never know. So,
Uh, I know a way to neutralize that. We got top of the wrestling world are Americans, Russians, and Iranians, right?
yeah.
Being Iranian myself, I'm a good wrestler. I've never wrestled in my life, but I still got that. Iranian wrestling is actually anti-Dagestani wrestling. That was, I looked at the history like many years ago. Dagestanis, they used to be better than
Mm.
us. and then we created our own style and we challenged them to come into our style. Then we
Exactly.
beat the crap out of them, and now we're like a high level. So when we get to UFC, especially me myself, if I get to the UFC,
Hmm.
which I will, and I know I will see you there, but we're
Oh
like
yeah,
4 or 5 different weight classes apart. Right?
it's fine,
You
man. We
135, right?
Yeah, if I 135. If
I
I
used
I
to be 145.
mhm.
Now I gained all this weight. I'm like 210.
Yeah, I might. If I go pro, I might go to 25. I don't know. I'm trying to put on some muscle right now. I like 35, but I could probably get to 25 if I really, really cut the weight, but I don't like doing that too much.
Uh, Speaking of 135, what do you see in the 135 division across all the promotions? Bellator,
Ooh.
UFC, ONE FC. What do you see in that?
It's looking pretty stacked. So actually one of the guys from Buffalo, he started here as an amateur, Pat Mix. He just he's rising right through the Bellator rankings. He's making a name for himself. He's a high level grappler.
He just
And
beat James Gallagher, right?
yeah, he just choked him out in Ireland.
Yeah,
So
in Ireland. That's gotta be great, man. Beating
yeah.
someone in his own town. That's great.
Yeah, I'm happy for him because I mean he when he was in Buffalo he worked he worked his ass off, so he deserves it, and he still works his ass off, so we're all proud of him up here. And then the UFC just got what's his face just won yesterday, and then Sean O'Malley's calling him out. I mean that whole division of
Yeah,
the UFC stacked, I think all the way down to the top 15. Corey Sandhagen just put on a barn burner fight, even though he lost. I mean that
yeah.
guy's striking's next level, and then you got the title picture over there. I want to see Jan versus Sterling. That one's been brewing for a
That's not
minute.
gonna happen, man.
I don't know, man. Sterling's
Been
he keeps
bitching
getting
about it,
hurt.
right? He's been bitching about it.
I know. And I'm like, dude, I understand like it's a neck surgery or something, but you're training. So if you could train, you could fight.
I mean, if you can train, if you can go on TV shows, if you can go on podcasts, if you
That's why.
go train with your guy, corner him, and you can't fight.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I had a lot of respect for him until this whole title stuff, but after he got the title and the way he's been acting, I can't respect it because I mean, I'm the type of guy I'll throw down anytime, anywhere. And I fought her like when I did that kickboxing fight. I had the flu fight week. I was like, I was gonna pull out. I was sicker than a dog on Wednesday, and then I was on the scale on Friday. I'm like, dude, I mean, it's not a neck injury, but still, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's been
I,
it's been over a year now. We got to do something.
I mean, I still I didn't have any problems with it, with the DQ and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
after the way he acted, holding the
yeah.
belt, I
I
mean,
even get that. I don't know, because because honestly, if I was in that situation, if I got DQ'd and I won the belt by DQ, I'd probably be like, okay, whatever, it's a UFC belt. I might embrace it a little bit, but you can't be walking around calling yourself the champ, in my opinion. Be like, yeah,
yeah,
I got the belt, but I'm not the champ.
the belt is mine. The golden C is next to my name, but I'm not the champ until I beat the champ. You know,
Exactly. hmm And like and to be honest too, like he was getting worked that fight.
yeah.
What is it? It ended in the third round. He got worked that for all 3 rounds. I'm like, man, I don't know. So, I could see maybe if he was winning the fight, but he wasn't even winning the fight.
He wasn't on one judge's scorecard. He was winning the fight. One judge,
Uh,
which is bullshit, to be
yeah.
honest.
Oh man, he was getting outstruck there like a madman.
Getting
So
dropped, getting taken down, tripped. I don't know, getting outstrike, everything, man. But
um,
if when you look at the 135 division, and if when you make it to the UFC, who would you like to fight? The first fight in the UFC, your debut.
my debut. Huh. That's a good question. 135. I mean, I would love to fight Sean O'Malley just because I respect him. He's a little bit lower on the rankings right now. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that'd be a good fight. I think it'd sell a lot. I could talk some shit. He'd talk some shit. That'd be fun. I respect him. Would be another guy in the I'm trying to think 135ers.
Adrian Yanez, he just
I was just thinking
won
of
his
him
fight.
too. I like him. I don't know for my first fight. I mean, that'd be a little tough. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a respectable because I mean I would love to fight anyone in the top 15, but usually when you get in the UFC, you got to work your way up. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to think lower level guy with a good name. So I mean Dominic Cruz would always be respectable. I'd love to fight someone like that. He was one of the reasons I got into MMA. His footwork was phenomenal. Uh,
Phenomenal.
Yep. Even, you know, I was a huge TJ Dillashaw fan until the PED use. So I don't know. I'd like to fight him at 1.2 just because he would be my idol and also slap the shit out of him for using steroids. If I'm over here
Yeah.
grinding treadmill every day, he's shooting up EPO to get his cardio up, man. I can't respect that. So, I don't honestly anybody because like I don't turn down fights, so I'd like to fight anybody just to even get in the UFC because well, I mean my mentality when I go into a fight is it doesn't matter who I'm fighting, it's me versus me. If I go and do the work and I do everything I'm supposed to do, don't matter who I'm fighting, I'm gonna win. So I gotta fight myself. That's how I kind of view all my fights.
Yeah. Speaking of talking shit, what do you do like before the fights? Do you talk shit a lot, like trash
Uh,
talking and shit, and stuff like that?
I had one fight where I trash talked a guy because we had like an actual beef, but I just ooze confidence. I put the work in and I let people know I put the work in. So I predict like, I shouldn't say predict. I know how my fights are going to go. So I tell people, I'm finishing this guy the first round or I'm choking this guy out. I'm just confident with it. And I think that energy, a lot of people see that energy and they absorb it.
Uh, let me take you to the past. The first time you ever saw an MMA fight, what was it like to you when you saw your first MMA fight on TV?
Oh, it was fantastic. So I forget who he was fighting, but it was a Clay Guida fight. And Clay Guida with his grappling, at the time I was a high school wrestler, and I just saw how this guy was ragdolling his opponent. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but that drew me in because I loved the grappling at the time. Like I said, I was a wrestler in high school, so when I saw him just shooting those takedowns, the chain wrestling, I'm like, man, this is dope. And they're punching and kicking the crap out of each other. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
pretty cool. So that's like what drew me in. And then after that, I didn't watch a lot of fights on TV and pay-per-views and stuff, but I would always go on YouTube and look up all the fights, all the highlights, whatever content I could find on YouTube. I was binging it as a teenager. Couldn't get enough of the sport.
Um, what was your parents' reaction when you told them like I want to fight? Your family, just
Um, so my mom's kind of was scared about it. So she liked me wrestling and stuff, but she didn't want me getting hit in the face and everything. So she gets nervous and stuff, but she enjoys it. She enjoys the success I have with it and how happy I am, and she sees how good I am. Like my last fight, she was so proud. She cried before she had like an anxiety attack. She's like, no, don't go in there. And my dad's supportive too. My dad goes to all my fights. He likes it. He supports the dream of me going pro and everything. So they're encouraging about it. So they didn't give me too much of a fuss when I first started fighting. But when I was a kid, I was pretty independent too. They didn't steer me in any which direction. They kind of let me choose my own path.
that's great, man. I mean, my parents too, but my mom when I came back from the fight like months ago,
Mhm.
my lips were all swelled up and shit. She was like,
Yeah,
"What did you do to your face? You're not gonna fight again. You're never gonna fight again." I'm like, "Mom, chill out. I beat the crap out of the guy. It was
yeah,
nothing,
yep,
but that's the part of the game. You wanna
exactly.
you wanna see me in a Lamborghini in a couple years,
Yep, that's what
or
I
yeah,
do. I don't want to have the cuts and the bruises, but I want to be able to be retired by the time I'm 40. I want to be able to not have to have a job. I want to be able to be, I'm the best in the world at something. Like that's a legacy. I want to have that shit. And people don't understand. You gotta make sacrifices. If you gotta take a couple bumps and
yeah,
bruises, then you gotta
a
take a
couple
couple bumps.
cuts here, a couple cuts there, you
Yeah.
know,
hmm
broken nose,
Yeah,
the
but not
ear, and all that stuff.
um any major injuries like that to come home with. I've had a couple black eyes or something, but I've never been like busted up to where my mom's like, yo, what the hell? You gotta chill.
Yeah,
So that's good though. So nothing, no major injuries yet.
that's great, man. I mean,
Yeah.
when when I told my mom about the fights, I mean, I had a couple fights. I didn't tell her. I was like, "Mom, I'm going out with my friends." I came home and when I went into the fights, I was like, "Man, I don't want to get really hit right now. I don't want to get hit. Like, I don't want to get hit because if I get hit, I have to tell her. It's gonna
hmm
leave a bruise, and I'm gonna tell her. I didn't tell her, man. I still haven't told her, but I told my dad. But my mom, she
hmm
still she still thinks that fight couple weeks ago, that
Yeah.
was my first fight. But she doesn't know. She doesn't
Yeah.
have to know. When I
Yeah.
come home from a Lamborghini, I'll tell her.
Yep. When you get a nice paycheck, be like, yo, mom, look at this. You got a
Yeah.
problem now?
I
So
mean, she's like, go wrestle, go, I don't know, go to college. I'm like, Mom, I'm not good at college. I'm
yeah.
not good at that shit. You put a
College,
book in front of me, I'm gonna hit it with, like use it as a pad. I'm not gonna read that book.
exactly. I mean, there's so many different ways you could go in life. Like college is one of the ways, but there's other ways you could go to make a lot of money too. And
Yeah.
personally, the trade-off, I mean, you're going to go in, a huge amount of debt just to go to college. So unless you
Yeah.
really have a clear-cut plan, in my opinion, it's not worth it. And then, this is what makes you happy and this is your dream. So go chase that shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
I look
everybody loves, man.
lumpy. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love to fight, man? I mean, even if you don't want to do it as a pro, you just do it as fun, Do it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, I actually told my mom, I was like, come to the gym with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hit the pass, see how it feels like. She was like, no,
Great
I'm not
lifestyle.
doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. She's missing out. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I mean, I actually told her to hit me. I was like, Mom, let me show you this. I showed her shoulder roll,
Mm-hmm.
and she hit me, and she was like, "Uh, I'm not gonna hit you." I was like, what's going on, Mom? She showed me her hand, and it was all red and stuff. I'm like, Mom, what did you do? I told you you have to come to the gym. You gotta work on those knuckles. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
work on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, family, man, family. What do you gotta do? You love
Exactly.
them. They they sometimes they're like, no, you shouldn't do it, but they don't know, man. When you're successful, when you're on top of the mountain, they'll be like, yeah, that's my son.
Exactly.
We all want that, right?
Yup. They may not support it at the foundation, but you're at the
Yeah,
top, be all about it. So, at
yeah.
the end of the day, you just gotta do what makes you happy. That's what I tell people. I'm like, your parents are your parents, yeah, but you are yourself too. So you gotta do what's best for you.
My dad actually tells me my dad tells me he's like, and let's say in 20 years, I'm not gonna be here anymore. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be I'm gonna be dead. So do what you wanna do, right?
Exactly. You gotta live your life,
Yeah.
not to let the other
Now,
people you to live.
yeah. Talking about living your life, what do you see yourself doing after the retirement and all in like 20 years or so? It's
Um,
too early to ask, but
Yeah, no, actually, I got a plan. So I want to coach. After I'm done fighting and everything, I want to take all the knowledge and experience that I learned. I'm going to open up my own gym and I'm going to coach because as much as I love fighting and everything, I mean, I just love training. I love the atmosphere of it. I always want to be around it. I mean, it's what truly makes me happy. So after I, make my run, I'm going to have some students. If they want to fight, great. If not, I'll be teaching beginners jujitsu. I don't care. I just want to be around the sport and be able to do what I want to do. So I'm going to open up my own gym when everything's all said and done.
that's great, man. I had an idea in my mind. Wrestling, pro wrestling,
Mhm.
AEW is blowing up, man. I mean, if it's still around when me and you like retire and stuff, maybe we do the pro wrestling and stuff. Maybe we give it a try.
Tag team. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy were my mans growing up. I loved those guys. So I'd
Ric
be up.
Flair, I don't know, Undertaker, I don't know, John Cena, all that stuff, man.
Mhm.
I mean,
Up.
who doesn't want to do that? It's a lot of money too.
That's what I mean. They look at Brock Lesnar. He goes back and forth. He, makes $10 million in WWE, goes fights, makes $3 million in the UFC, goes back to the WWE like nothing ever happened. It's insane.
Okay? Just like Junior Dos Santos after his uh, problem with the UFC, he signed with
Yeah.
AEW. That's
And
cool,
he looks
right?
happy. What's his face? Jack Swagger. He's doing a wrestling match with John Jones now, and
Yeah.
he's wrestling in AEW and he's fighting in Bellator.
Yeah, he's fighting Bellator. He's gonna wrestle with John Jones. I don't think that's gonna happen though, because he said I haven't signed anything yet. But if it happens, I mean, he's gonna be more famous than he ever was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got a chance versus John Jones, but I mean, the
Yeah,
publicity on that one, that's how you get your name out there for sure.
talk shit, all that stuff.
Yup.
Uh, speaking of John Jones, what do you think John Jones is going through right now after all this drama that he had over the past couple months?
I don't. I think the man's is an alcoholic, and I think he needs to. I think he takes what people say about him too seriously. I think he needs to tone out the noise and get his head right, then come back and he can come back and be a champion. But I don't know, man. Like it's problem after problem after problem with this guy. I used to respect him, and I'm all about giving people second and even third chances sometimes. But he's got to make a lifestyle change at this point. Like I got no respect for people that hit women. Like I don't.
You hit women, you just gone. Just Go
Yeah,
kill yourself, bro.
yeah.
Because
So
that respect is gone.
and then it's not even the first time, like the whole car accident situation, and
Yeah,
then steroids, everything else is like, dude, how many times are you gonna like, get your shit together, and then 6 months later you're fucking up again, and then the worst part is
exactly.
up to the guy. So it's like, now you're setting bad examples for people.
I mean, I looked up to John Jones growing up, and when he tested positive for steroids, then the whole car accident,
Yeah,
DC, and all the shit that he talked, and the shit talking, I don't care, but the cocaine, and that's
yeah.
bad example for a kid, man.
He's from Rochester, which is where like it's an hour away from my hometown. So like he grew up in my area. I hear all the stories of him after UFC 210. He's in the bar, trying, asking people for stuff, and it's like, man, I don't know. It's just I just got, he's got to get himself right. He's got to get
Yeah.
himself right before he fights again. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all
Do
I
you
know.
think he? Do you think all this drama is because he's surrounded by yes men all the time?
Probably, yeah. It's I think the same thing with Conor McGregor and his training. I think
Yeah.
he's yes man that tell him his boxing's the best in the world, and his boxing's good, but
Yeah.
you're an MMA dog. You gotta grapple too. So
Yeah.
it's the yes man is a problem. I do think he has some yes men. I do, and
I mean,
it's tough
yeah.
though because you get an athlete like that wants to work with you. You don't want to tell him no and burn that bridge, but someone's got to be real with him. Someone
Yeah.
does.
Just like yesterday, I was training with my coach. I'm like, Coach, I can't do this. I'm like, I'm hurt. I'm injured. Or this and that. And he was like, No, if you are injured, I don't care. But if you're not, you doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit down and listen to you. You're doing this. He
Yep.
looked at my leg. I told him I've got this injury that cracked. It's gonna turn into cracked shin if I don't
Mm-hmm.
take care of it. The same
Yeah.
thing with Connor.
Okay.
What's it called? Stress fractures. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told my coach. At first he was like, no, because I was tired and shit. He was like, I don't believe you. Then he looked at my leg. Then he was like, all right, just because you were injured.
Mm-hmm.
And the same. Do you think that Connor should have pulled out of the fight with
No,
with with, with that injury?
no, I don't think so. I think he should have. If he knew that he had an injury like that going into that fight, he shouldn't have thrown kicks. That's what I think he should have
Yeah.
done. If you know you got a stress fracture in your leg and you're gonna go in that fight, because I mean he always talks about training injured and he fights. He's like, I don't pull out of fights. So if that's your mentality, then that's your mentality. But you can't. If you know you got a problem, don't throw leg kicks. Then that's the
Yeah.
way
I
I would
mean,
look at it. You know,
what was
if
he
you
throwing leg kicks?
why I mean I think he was trying to didn't he throw a leg kick at, or kick at or calf kick at Dustin and he checked it or something? Isn't that how he broke his leg?
I think he hit him. He hit his elbow when he got up. Like
Mm,
he threw a front kick and he hit his elbow. I don't know, man. That whole thing is pretty
yeah.
weird.
I mean,
But
either way, if you knew your leg is
yeah,
injured, I wouldn't throw kicks. That's just my opinion.
and
I'd use the other leg and I'd use the hands and I'd mix in the grappling. That's what I would do.
but the other thing is John Kavanaugh. Why didn't he tell him like, hey, bro, just don't throw kicks, or switch to orthodox, kick the other
Mm-hmm.
leg, or go with the
Yeah.
inside low kick?
Yeah. I mean, maybe John might have told him that. I don't know. I know John's more of a grappling based coach. I don't know if
Yeah,
he tells Connor, the striking stuff, but even if the coach tells you, it's up to the fighter to execute it. If Conor McGregor is over here saying he's the best fighter in the world, he should know that, hey, I got a weakness here. Maybe I should switch my game up a little bit. That's
yeah,
just my thoughts on it.
switch the leg so he doesn't have. So if he kicks me, it's not gonna hurt. Go the other leg.
Yeah,
Go orthodox.
exactly. Like I'm a southpaw right now, and I got a shin injury right now too, and like, with my ankle, it's been messed up since my fight. So what I've been training, I just been training orthodox because I'm not throwing any elite kicks or anything. I'm like, oh shit, I can't throw any kicks right now, so I just switch my stance.
Switch up the
I
leg.
throw it.
Switch the legs, man. I mean, I don't know, man. The whole situation is weird. Who are you picking to win the fight, though?
Now, as a fan, I want Connor to win, but I knew Dustin was going to win as a fighter. So, but I do think when Connor wins, it's good for the sport. But it's tough, man. Like I love Dustin Poirier too. Like Mike Brown's come up to my gym and taught some seminars and stuff. And I won a fight from calf kicks that Mike Brown taught me all the way back in 2014. So I got a lot of respect for American Top Team, Dustin Poirier, and their whole gym. But Conor McGregor, I mean, he's a different animal, and he's better for the sport. So every time he fights, I always want him to win, but like I know he's probably not gonna, because he's got other stuff going on in his life. You want to be the best of the best. You gotta train 24/7. You can't be selling whiskey and then doing super yachts and all this other stuff he's doing. So
Speaking of whiskeys, have you tried this whiskey?
I have not, but I want to. I've seen it in the stores, so it's like $30 American here, which is kind of cheap. So, but I'm not a big drinker, so when I do drink, if I see it, I'll probably grab it. But I haven't tried it yet. Have you?
No, I don't drink at all. I'm not even the legal age.
Yeah. Oh well, I was drinking. I the legal age for up here is 21, so I drank a little bit from like 19 to 22. But for the most part, I don't drink. I stay away from that stuff because it's not
Yeah.
good for the training.
And look at John Jones. Look
Yeah,
at what he's doing with the drink.
yeah, and like on top of that, like I like my calories, man. I'm trying to eat, so thing of alcohol is like 100 to 200 calories.
Yeah,
That's food for me.
that's a
So
no-no.
yep, I'm trying to eat my food, not trying to drink my food.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I'm not. It's just never been a big fan of drinking.
Well, let's get
Even
away from that. Let's get away
yep.
from all the negativity. Let's talk
Yeah.
about you a little bit more.
hmm
Have you got a fight coming up in the future? Maybe
Um,
next
I
year?
I got one in the works. I'm trying to do a fight in my hometown, Buffalo. I believe it would be January 29th. So it's gonna be a real nice promotion. So I'm just waiting to hear back for a couple matchups, which is great too because we got the holidays coming up here. We got Thanksgiving next week and Christmas, so it gives me time to eat with my family, then get right back to training, get the weight down. So in about, I'm looking to fight in 2 months. Get
And do
right.
you know who you're fighting? If did amateurs, did they tell you like who you're fighting or stuff like that?
Yeah, they let us know ahead of time. So the way it works over here is a promotion will contact us to be like, hey, do you have any fighters interested? And then my manager will send over, my information. Yeah, this is what we got. They'll get back to us with a couple guys, and they'll be like, all right, this is what we have. What do you think? And then we'll tell them who we want or who we, if we like the matchup, and then it gets set up like that. So traditionally, in a perfect world, you get a 8-week camp, but in the amateurs, a lot of guys pull out all the time. So people get
You
cold
know.
feet, people get scared, people get injured. So, like if I can get through a full camp and have the same opponent, that's fantastic. But my opponents usually get switched up on a month's or 2 weeks notice or something like that.
Have you ever had like how many times has your opponent been changed like before a fight?
One, two, like
Like for
four.
one fight. Like for one fight.
Oh, I had one fight camp where I went through like 2 or 3 opponents.
That's the amateur, man. That's the amateur thing.
Yep. Yeah, I had a guy that accepted it, and then he had a kid, and he pulled out. I had another guy that took it, and then he got hurt. He broke his hand or something. He pulled out, and then on fight day, they found a guy. So I had 3 different opponents in one camp one time.
That's pretty bad. I mean, one guy's a wrestler, one guy's a striker, one guy's a BJJ guy. Stuff.
Exactly. It's tough to
Yeah.
but
Like yeah.
oops,
Go on.
I was gonna
Go
say
on.
I'm well rounded, so that doesn't worry me too much.
Uh,
Before my career it did, but now I'm
yeah.
well rounded enough to where it's like I don't give a shit. I just want to fight.
Like, do you think that when someone steps in on short notice, people give him a lot of respect, right? But do you think part of that respect should go to the other guy whose opponent was changed, because he's fighting a totally different guy? Do you
hmm
think they should respect the other guy too?
Yeah. I think. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fight. So I don't. If you're accepted a fight, I think you should come ready to fight regardless on the style of whatever your opponent is. So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, anybody who steps in there and accepts a fight, I think it's a certain amount of respect. I do think I don't think the person that accepts a short notice fight doesn't get enough credit too. Like when Conor McGregor accepted the fight versus Chad Mendez from Jose
Yeah,
Aldo. I mean, those
yeah,
are two way completely different stylistic fights. He accepted that one
yeah.
on like notice and he ended up winning the belt. I mean, I thought Chad Mendez was going to out wrestle him, and so I
He
mean,
was doing it.
yeah, so he was winning that fight, and then Conor knocked him out because he got gas. So I mean, there's always risk involved, but at the end of the day, you're fighting. So I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't give the other guy too much respect. I just give him respect for getting in there.
Yeah. What is the hardest thing you what is the hardest thing you ever seeing him fighting? Like, is it the training? Is it the anxiety before the fight? Is it like the minute the ref goes fight? What's that? What's the hardest thing in fighting for you?
The hardest thing for me is probably just the I'd say the trading. So I mean, I'm in the gym. I'm a dog. I'm always trading. I don't cut corners. I work a 9 to 5, and the right after work, I either hit the gym or the cardio. So I'm either running 3 to 5 miles or I'm slamming weights for 2 hours, and then I do my striking class and I do my grappling class, and I do that 6 days a week. So the consistency of that is hard. The fight, I don't have fight anxiety anymore. My first couple fights I did. Now I'm confident in my skills and my abilities because I train my ass off. So I'm not worried about, the fight anxiety. And, I've been getting results. So that's another reason I'm not worried about it. And then, well, I mean, I'm calm. I'm not really an aggressive person when I fight. But as soon as the ref says, let's go, it's like a switch that flicks. It's like, all right, I'm game. Let's go. It's like a whole different animal for me. So,
Hasta la vista.
yeah. So I think the hardest part for me is probably just consistently training. I hate weight cutting. I do cut the weight. I walk around at about a buck 50, 150 pounds, and I fight at 135. So I cut about 15 pounds. But I'd say that that's probably the actual hardest part. Training, I don't mind anymore. It's just a part of the process.
And talking about that, do you get paid as an amateur over there?
So I don't get like a fight purse, but I do get ticket sales. So the more I get like based on the promotion, they give you a percentage of ticket sales. So say tickets are $50, they'll give you like 20%. So you get like $10 a ticket. So if I sell, a few hundred tickets, I'm getting a good amount of money. And then on top of that, I do merch. I sell t-shirts. So I make some money doing that. And then I have a couple sponsors that'll either pay me or give me some products. So I don't make money specifically from the fights, but I do it through all my other stuff. And then if I do like private lessons, I get paid for that too. So I try to maximize the most money I can make, and then I reinvest all my profits into my training, whether it is me going to seminars or me taking going to different gyms and traveling, stuff like that. I'm just trying to be the best. And I'm trying to make the most of whatever I got here.
Yeah. I mean, I have to pay to get into the fight. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
call the guy, they'll be like, the entry is like $200. You pay me $200, I'll find you an opponent. Shit, man, it's fucking shit. And
Yeah.
it's not gonna be on TV. It's not gonna be on TV. You can record the fight by yourself, do whatever the fuck you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad, man. I mean, it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, that would piss me off. What was I gonna say? Like over here, you don't got to do that, but like you got to pay for your medical. So I got to go to the doctor. I got to get a physical. You got to get your blood work. Some places require eye exams, stuff like that. So after you pay all your medicals, it's like $500 sometimes. It's like shit, man. I just paid
Yeah.
$500 and I'm fighting. So that's why I do like my merch stuff. I sell my shirts that all pays for my medical, so I don't gotta take that out of my own pocket. And then my sponsors, and then they help pay for my training and everything else. And then I'm trying to make money on Instagram soon, so I'm trying to grow my following there. This way, so I could get some sponsored ads and stuff. It's
Yeah.
you just got to grow
Me
the
and
brand.
you, we can do collabs sometimes. Just,
Exactly.
yeah, you know
Hmm.
what to do.
Yeah,
DM me and we do some shit together.
sure,
So,
dude.
yeah, to the viewers watching right now, we're gonna do some shit in the future for
Yeah.
100%.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
podcast.
man. I mean, it's great, man. It's great having you on. That's actually my goal, to have guys that are not getting fight any media attentions, bring him on the show. You know, give
Yep.
him let you guys talk shit, call people out. Do
Hmm.
what you want to do, promote yourself, and I'm just gonna be here, sit around, make an aim for myself also,
Yeah,
and
man.
have some fun. This is fun for me. This is fun. I'm having the time of my life right now.
Time.
Because in the future you're gonna be a world champion. You're gonna be a well-known man. I'm gonna be like I was one of the guys who you know talked to him. I talked to him. He's like, so,
Hmm.
man. So, I was like, what the fuck happened, man?
Yeah.
So
For,
yeah, sorry for the thing that happened. It's nothing.
yeah, my phone just.
So
My bad.
it's all right, man. It's all right. We get that. Like I had this guy on the show. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say his name, right? Because he's a great guy. Actually, he's a fighter. He's a pro fighter. Not gonna
Hmm.
say his name. All I'm gonna say he used to fight for Bellator. I don't know
Hmm.
what the fuck he's doing with his life right now. He came on the show and we talked for a little bit, and I don't know what happened. He just ended the call, hung up, never
Hmm.
responded to my text again. I'm like, bro, what are you
This is
doing? I have the questions right now. I mean, I was asking him for how he got into fighting and shit, and I don't
Mhm.
know. He just hung up the phone. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Never
that's
talk.
just rude.
Never talk to me again. And I'm like, man. I mean, if I did something wrong, tell me. I'll apologize to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, maybe my internet was disconnected. I don't know.
Man, I don't worry. I wouldn't sweat that dude.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, to be honest with you, he was. I actually want to use him for something. He was gonna announce the retirement on the show. So when
Mm.
he was gonna announce the retirement, Bellator was gonna be like, well, he announced his retirement on this show. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
wanted, yeah, well, you wanted the credit for that,
yeah,
breaking that.
but
Good for you.
it was the first episode, and it was the first episode that I was gonna record. It was the first
Yeah.
episode. Oh man. So what were we talking about? We were talking about what? About the future, right? Like
Yeah.
we were talking about when you're gonna be a champion. Like I
Hmm.
said, when you be a champion, like, I'm gonna be here too. I
Hmm.
was talking to him before he was the champion. Now he's the champion. All this stuff. You know,
100%.
yeah, man. I mean, it's such a great thing to talk to up and coming fighters. I've
Yep.
talked to some veterans over the course of this couple months that we had the podcast. I talked to Sam Alvey. I've talked to Eric Anders, all these UFC fighters,
Yeah.
Bellator fighters, and I actually you were the first up and coming fighter that I've had on the show. So
I appreciate
yeah,
that.
you are the first amateur that I had on the show.
It means a lot, because
You know,
there's a lot of out there that you could have had on there. You chose me, so that that just speaks volumes. So I'm glad that we're able to do this, and I'm having a great time, like I was saying.
I mean, it was great. It was been great talking to you. I don't have any more questions. So if you want to say something, call someone out, give a shout out to yourself. Anything you want to say before we stop the
Yeah.
recording?
Hmm. Yeah, I just want to say, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, hit me up on Instagram. It's Riker underscore MMA. I'm also on Twitter, MMA underscore Josh. And I'm trying to fight in Buffalo here in January. So if there's any local 135ers or anyone in the States that wants to do that, come hit me up, sign my DMs, and I'll send you the promoter and we'll make it happen. So, it was a pleasure talking to you guys. If you have any questions, my DMs are also always open.
Yeah, I would love to have you again on the show after your fight in January.
Yeah, I
That would
appreciate
be
that.
great.
So, yep, hit me
Uh,
up, make it
yeah,
happen.
I'll hit you up, and we're gonna do some collabs and shit in the future if you're
Yep,
up for it.
yep, sounds good. Like I said, you
Yeah,
know how to contact me. So,
yeah, I got your DM and your Skype. So yeah,
mhm.
thank you guys
All
for
right,
watching. It's been great talking to you, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
yep,
Um,
pleasure.
see you guys later.
Yep, take care, everybody. Bye.